Hello, we're Stevan and Lucia.
Hi.
We're walking towards our home, and today we're going to share with you a little bit of our life project called Los Paredones. We are settled on 6 acres of old agricultural land on the flanks of the Rio Sonora. Within those 6 acres, we also stored a swath of mature riparian tree grove that holds a year-round irrigation canal. We don't have electricity nor any services provided by the municipality, and we are situated 1.5 miles across the riverbed from a little town of about 2,000 people. In living here, our main goal is to fulfill as many of our needs locally by ourselves and with as little impact as we can on the environment. An easy way of doing this is by living simply and close to nature. Nature provides so much. Another way of fulfilling our needs is by not having so many. We go by the philosophy that we can increase our quality of life by reducing our needs. We are not hermits, ascetics, nor perfect. What we do is try to live in a way in which future generations can have a good chance at thriving. We have had the opportunity to learn from many teachers, places, and also from mistakes and triumphs. Los Paredones is a place for us and anybody who comes to grow and learn about ourselves and how to live in better harmony with this planet we inhabit. In living this way, we are able to provide ourselves with shelter using mainly natural materials, a lot of our food using almost exclusively seeds that we have saved ourselves, some medicine from wild-crafted plants, some comforts like heating and cooling and charging our electronics by using appropriate technology. It also allows us to live a slower paced life in which making conscious decisions is a little bit easier than in a fast-paced reality. Now we would like to share with you some examples and features here on the land that exemplify our lifestyle. Thank you for joining us. Here we are at the Irrigation Canal. This water comes from maybe 2 or 3 miles north of town, and this is why we are all here. This is why Banamichi is here and all the towns in the Rio Sonora are here. Today is watering day for us. We're going to be watering our beans, and we're going to follow the water down to where the bean plants are. Here's our gate. When we water, we open the gate and this floods into our fields, and we have another set of acequias that take the water to where we need it to. So this is a gate, and today we don't need all the water that's in the canal. We just need what's going into the gate right now, and that will be sufficient for giving water to the beans. Here we are down at the bean field. The water's flowing through one of the secondary dirt canals that we have here on the land, and it's just basically bringing the water to the section where we have the beans planted. This water is full of privilege. It flows just via gravity, and it's from a spring that pumps out a lot of water. The amount of water that's in the canal is just about a fourth of the whole volume that's being generated there. So here you can see the bean plants. This is their 5th watering, and the water just flows through the furrows. By this point, the water pretty much knows where it needs to go. Watering just involves being here with a shovel and making sure that everything is advancing the way it's supposed to be. It might entail moving a little bit of detritus or taking a little shovel full of mud and plugging up a little hole or something like that. So hopefully in late June we will be harvesting some of our corcovado beans. So here we are next to the canal again. You can tell that it's a flowing theme of ours here. And Lucia is going to show you and tell you about another appropriate technology that we use here on site.
So we want to share with you how do we store our grains in a very simple way, and we like it. So beside the canal is a very cool place, cool soil that we dig a hole, and in a hole it's a barrel. It's a repurposed barrel. It's food grade, and this way it maintains it cool because it's moist. So the barrel, we open it. Well, we put this on top of it, and it's just a towel that we get wet, so it also maintains its coolness and evaporates. And then we can open the barrel, and it's tight. So here we have our, in this case, our oats. And oats go rancid very quickly. We do not have any refrigerator or a freezer. So this way we know for sure that it won't go bad. You can see here are the oats. They're not rolled yet. And when we put the lid on top again, we light this candle, and then we close the lid, and that way we assure that nothing can live inside. The oxygen eliminates, finishes, and then nothing can live inside, and so any bugs, they won't live and they won't eat our food. So it's a very simple way of storing our food, and we like it.
Here we are at what we call the new tree grove. And the new tree grove is basically our fruit trees that we put together in the style of a food forest. And what that is bringing together a lot of fruit trees, but also a lot of support species that fill different niches in this little ecosystem. And we call it the new tree grove because it's adjacent to what we call over there the old tree grove. And the old tree grove is where we were this morning when we started watering the beans. And the reason why the old tree grove is there is because once upon a time somebody decided to put the watering canal where it is right now, and that's how those trees came to be there. And that is a perfect example of a resilient living system, which is something that we like to learn from, and we're trying to replicate it in some way, shape, or form here with these more edible species. And the old tree grove over there, that is a living system that requires basically no input whatsoever from us, basically just the water from the canal flowing. And looking at it from a human standpoint, it's a very, very productive system. It has mesquites, it has black walnuts, it has chiltepines, it has elderberry, it has wolfberry, it has hackberry, and I'm probably forgetting a few others. It has wild mulberries, and all those species we can use in more than one way. And all we have to do is just go and respectfully harvest what we need and let it do its own thing. So we're trying to do something similar over here, but with species that have more, basically fruit, more edibles. And this is a pretty new tree grove. The oldest tree is maybe a little bit over 5 years old, and it's a handful of those trees that we have from that generation. We have a few stone fruit. We have peaches. We have apricots. We also have mulberries. This guy right here to my left is an apple. We have a few pomegranates. We have a jujube. We have a date palm. We are trying to have some avocados. And what else do we have? We have a persimmon. We have some hawthorn. And again, probably a few others that I'm forgetting. And then we have the support species, which are species that sometimes either they'll fix nitrogen, so adding fertilizer to the soil. Others will provide shade to other trees in certain times of year. Yet other ones we can chop and drop and use as mulch that biodegrade really fast, and they create soil, which is what we're trying to build here. This was just all flat, compacted earth a little bit over 5 years ago, and now every year we get to eat a little bit more of our own fruit. So that's the plan with this.
Another way we solve our needs in a simple way, it's by building with natural materials. And this is an example. You can see the foundation that we use are just stones that we gather from around this place. And then the walls are adobe walls. Adobe is basically clay mixed with sand and straw and then water. And then you make the bricks. And that roof, it's a big roof. It's called a thatch roof. It's a adaptation of a thatch roof, and we are using Johnson's grass. Johnson's grass is a species that it's from we can source it locally, not in our land. And we make bundles, and then we sew the bundles to the beams, and then we make a roof. It's still in process because a little bit of intense labor, and that it should be soon ready to go inside. And then with natural materials and a good design, you can maximize the potential of the material, and then you can have a really comfort space inside, and that we can live without toxics and nothing at all, and very happy.
Here we are inside of our room, and this is probably my favorite example of a system that is resilient and that is easily replicable and that has a very low ecological footprint. And what it is, it's an adobe structure, including the roof, which is what makes it pretty special. This is a technique that was developed over 7,000 years ago in Egypt, in southern Egypt, where still today there are vaults that are standing that are about 3,000 years old. And the people there basically had to figure out a way how to put a roof over their dwellings in a place that didn't have much timber, that wasn't really an option or a resource. So with a couple of tricks and the right shape of the geometry and of the arch that's being built here, they were able to build it out of small adobes about this size. The the foundation is also made from stone that is from a couple of towns south of here. All these adobes, the walls, the big adobes, and the small adobes were made from the soil on site with a little bit of fiber from the leftover of the grinding of the agave heads for making the local bacanora drink. So it's a refuse material that we incorporated into the dwelling. And because of the geometry of this, you need to have really, really thick walls. And also on the outside, this is partially enclosed with more earth. And it has a lot of thermal mass. And what that does is makes it pretty comfortable. When it's hot outside, it keeps it pretty cool, and vice versa, say in the winter time. The paint that we use is just lime wash paint. Lime is, you can see, a precursor to cement. It's been around for a long, long time, and that's very cheap and easy to do. The floor is also made out of earth. That has also a lot of sand, some straw fiber, and that's been sealed with linseed oil. And this is where we sleep, where we live. Well, we do most of our living outside, but we're just trying to maximize the use of the space here. Up here we have the sleeping loft, and we have a little bit of a walk-in closet, and we just try to make use of all of the little spaces that we have in here. Eventually we'll make more buildings, but for now this is This is where we shelter ourselves with the earth from beneath our feet.
Hi, here we are outside in our homestead. Want to share with you one of the ways we cook our food. Sometimes we use wood, sometimes we use a gas stove, and the majority of times we use the sun. And this big appliance, it's a solar oven. And the way it works, it works with the heat of the sun, and it cooks all of our meals. You can cook beans, lentils, or all of the legumes we cook here, meat. I love baking like cakes or loaves of bread also. And right now I'm experimenting with sourdough bread here. Normally the sourdough bread I cook it in the wood oven, but I'm trying to use it here also, and it's great to see the results. It's an amazing appliance, and it's basically a big a box that is insulated, and it has panels. Here are the panels. So you move the panels through the sun, and the panels reflects the sun inside. It has a glass. You will see it right now. So it's very easy to use, and it's very efficient. It's clean energy. The sun is always here in this climate, so we can use it for our benefit. And I'm gonna share with you. You come here and see what we're cooking right now. Here is the door, and right now we're cooking some beans. As you can see, it's boiling. The beans are boiling. They're almost ready. You can see the beautiful beans. Here we have our chickpeas. We're gonna make hummus with the chickpeas. Also, you can see they're boiling. Sometimes I put a little bit more water. This is really hard, so you have to be careful. Well, I'm not gonna do it. I don't want to drop the hot water in me. So I'm gonna move this around. It has this little, and I'm gonna move it towards the sun. Right now it's very, very high, and this is the very efficient. I leave it like that, and I go back and forget about it.
Here we are using a bike machine. That's a good example of appropriate technology that we use here. And it's basically a hand crank mill, which is this guy right here. And we've adapted it to be able to hook up to this chassis, which is basically made up of angle iron and bicycle pieces. So instead of using one arm to make this mill go, we're using both of our legs, which makes it infinitely faster and easier. When we used to not have this, it would be quite the task to do this. And we're grinding up some of our corn that's been boiled with lime to make tortillas. And this is the first, excuse me Samuel, this is the first grind we're going to do out of 3. And we're going to make tortillas with this, and they're super yummy. It's from our corn. This machine, we We built, a friend taught us how to build it, and we built it in central Mexico in Guadalajara. His outfit is bicimaquinas.com. They make all kinds of machines, washing machines, blenders, little generators, and other bike machines. So here it is. This is the first milling. Well, we hope you got a good glimpse of what we're doing here and what we're striving for, and why it's important, especially in these times. We want to give thanks to BCA for inviting us to be part of this forum, and also to invite you to the live question and answer session later on the 19th. Thank you very much.
Bye.